Hey everybody, shout out to the Utah Attorney General's office. So this is an older video, but this stuff happens over many decades, so this is still very relevant. It's only from 2019. Something she talks about in here is you don't need to be putting pictures of your kid online all the time. So where I stopped the video, she's talking about uh, posting your child online is not that great of an idea because these these pedophiles are utilizing the internet to look for their targets, and that's a very good point. Because look at what we do with our kids when it comes to dog culture. This is how we constantly post our kids. Less and less, less and less pictures of the mom and the dad holding the kid, and it's like, look, you're gonna have to come through mom and dad. Instead, it's like the kid licking the dog in the bed. All this kind of stuff is everywhere. And even if we're not talking about the pedophiles using these types of photos as a way to have a foot in the door, these pictures are still just, they're not right at all. For example, this little toddler right here could easily slip and fall on this dog food, but they take this picture and they think it's all cute. They should be holding the toddler and touching the toddler. Human touch for the little baby is very important. So even if the pedophiles aren't using this to find their targets, this is still pretty dang ridiculous. I mean, just take this one for example. If this dog gets triggered by something, this little girl is going to get thrown onto the ground, or have her fingers broke, or get a rash on this concrete. So this isn't good at all, and it just promotes neglecting your child just to make yourself look good with the dog. So back to our general's office. She says earlier in the video about the pedophiles will talk to a little kid and then say like, "Oh, you like blankets, you like pillows, then why don't you cuddle with them? Oh, go up on the bed." And the pedophiles use outside objects to bring the little kids in. And she doesn't talk about it in this video, but there's something called the pet lure that pedophiles use, like, "Oh, do you like puppies? Okay, you can cuddle with my puppy. Help me feed the puppy." Pedophiles use this all the time. And so if you are one of these pedophiles that our country, or I'm sorry, our state in Utah is more and more getting filled with, you're out there looking at pictures like this. You're out there looking at pictures like this, and you're going to be like, okay, that's an easy target. All I have to do is say, hey, check out my dog. Don't you like dogs? Help me find the leash. Oh, maybe the dog is in the bedroom. Maybe the dog is in the bathroom. These pedophiles use the pet lure all the time, and all of these parents are constantly throwing these pictures up. Dogs, 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 dogs. And so where is this at? Utah. Utah, where it's filled with dogs. So common lures used. Let's scroll down. The pet lure. They always call it the pet lure. John Wayne Gacy used it. Ted Bundy used it. Predators win a child's trust by asking for their assistance. In the common ploy, sorry, I need to scroll. Predators often win a child's trust by asking for their assistance. It's a common ploy, the pet lure, where a predator approaches a child and asks if he's seen his dog. And of course, these kids that we're constantly putting with our dogs, when we really should be holding our kids and making them feel secure, if you're one of these child predator sex rings and you're in a state where all these men and women are putting dogs above humans, it's a perfect place for you to throw out your pet lure. So have a watch this video. She almost kind of talks about the pet lure. She mentions other things. It's very curious that they don't talk about the pet lure, and they don't put the comments on. I wish the comments were on so we could ask how many of those people use the pet lure. It seems like the dog culture really gets away with a lot because Utah has so many dogs that there's no way that at least a small portion of those people don't use the pet lure. So dog culture doesn't add up at all. Dogs are putting kids at a higher risk to be targeted by these guys. And since we're talking about Utah, before I say goodbye to you guys for this video, look at the demographics of Utah. So it has a small percentage of people that identify as black. So most black people, when it's compared to white people, have less dogs. So where we see more dog ownership, we see more pedophiles. That doesn't make sense. The dog culture logic that tells us dogs are so amazing, I'm thinking our black population knows something that we don't. So something I mentioned earlier is how the Utah people are putting their fellow humans below dogs, and that equals a good target for child abusers. And this has already been studied. Utah dog owners are more likely to save their dogs. So just think about that. All those parents that are putting up pictures of their little kids all over Utah, many of them are also thinking in the back of their mind, oh, my dog is more important. My dog is more important than my husband or my wife or my little kids. Utah loves their dogs more than their kids, according to this article. So what's up, Utah? You're running around making yourself look good, putting up all those pictures of you with your little kids, but yet your state is full of child porn and sex traffickers, and they're taking your kids away from you, and you're sitting back here talking about, oh, dogs are better. When it comes to this prevailing culture of dogs are better than humans, dogs are better than kids, it's sinking into our society so deep, and it's very sinister. There's all kinds of publications that say you're not a bad pet parent if your dog doesn't like kids. So they're basically making it cool and trendy to put your dog above your kid. Oh, your dog doesn't like kids. Hey, that's cool. But it's not cool. It puts your kids at all kinds of risks for developmental problems and all kinds of other nasty stuff. There's all kinds of conversations online where people say, oh, I would totally save my dog, but not my kid or not my husband or not my wife. So all of these people in Utah, you're sitting there with more and more dogs, putting this type of label on your dogs, like your dog is a fur daddy, baby, fur mama, all that kind of labeling, quote unquote pronouns that you put on your dogs. Meanwhile, your little kids are paying the price. So yeah, have a look at this video from the Utah Attorney General's office. The stuff she says in there is pretty powerful, and it really relates to the other stuff I said in this video. See you guys on the next one.